When I first arrived in this country, I didn't understand how vulnerable I was. I didn't know the language well, I didn't have a social circle, and I didn't yet understand how quickly trust can turn into a mistake when you're new and alone. At the time, I thought I was adapting. Looking back, I was just trying not to look lost. That's when I met her. She was confident, relaxed, and familiar with everything that felt foreign to me. She knew where to go, what to say, how things worked. Being around her made the city feel less hostile. I didn't question it. I didn't slow down to analyze anything. I was grateful for the company and relieved to feel normal for a moment. We spent time together casually. Nothing serious. Conversations, jokes, small plans. One evening, she came over to my place. Everything felt ordinary. There were no alarms in my head, no sense of danger, no moment where I thought I should stop or hesitate. At some point, I went to take a shower. I remember the sound of the water, the heat, the way my thoughts drifted. I wasn't rushing. I wasn't worried. I assumed I was safe. When I came back out, the apartment felt wrong immediately. Not loud wrong, quiet wrong. The kind of silence that doesn't belong. My laptop was gone. My phone was gone. Cash I had saved, money that mattered, was gone too. Around $2,000. Everything important I owned at that stage of my life. And she was gone. No message. No explanation. No hesitation on her part. Just absence. I stood there trying to understand what I was looking at. I checked the bathroom, the door, my pockets. Like the situation might somehow reverse itself if I searched hard enough. It didn't. I tried calling her. Nothing. Messages weren't delivered. She didn't exist anymore. I reported it. Nothing came of it. I asked around. I learned quickly how easy it is for a person to disappear when they want to. Eventually, reality set in. There was no resolution coming. What stayed with me wasn't just the loss. It was the humiliation, the feeling of being naive, the realization that I had been watched, measured, and used without noticing. For a long time, I blamed myself. I replayed conversations, expressions, details, wondering what I missed. People around me had opinions, of course. They always do. You should have known. Why would you trust someone like that? Move on. So I did, at least on the surface. Years passed. I built a life. New work, new routines, new relationships. I stopped telling the story because it always ended the same way, with advice that came too late and judgments that didn't help. I convinced myself it didn't matter anymore. Until today, I was walking through a public park, killing time, half distracted, when I saw her. Older, yes. More settled, but unmistakably her. She wasn't alone. She was sitting with a man who looked like he belonged anywhere he went. Confident, comfortable, foreign like me, but in a different way. Between them was a child. Their child. Mixed, bright, happy, completely unaware of the weight standing nearby. For a second, my body reacted before my mind did. My chest tightened. My steps slowed. She noticed me. I know she did. Our eyes met briefly, and in that moment, I didn't see confusion. I didn't see uncertainty. I saw recognition, immediate and sharp. Then she looked away, like I was nothing, like I was a stranger who didn't deserve acknowledgement. I didn't plan what happened next. I didn't think it through. I walked over and started a conversation the way anyone would. I commented on how smart their child seemed, how expressive, how lucky they were. She smiled politely, controlled, careful, too careful. The man was friendly, open. We talked about work, about being foreigners, about the usual things expats talk about when they meet. He was easy to speak to, relaxed. Then I asked for his number. I said it casually, an excuse about staying in touch, about professional connections, about helping each other out. He gave it to me without hesitation. She stayed quiet the entire time. Not a word. I thanked them, wished them a good day, and walked away. The number sat in my phone like something heavy, not because of what it was, but because of what it represented. For 12 years, that chapter of my life had been closed by force. Suddenly, it was open again. On the way home, my thoughts didn't go where I expected. I wasn't angry. I wasn't fantasizing about revenge. I wasn't planning a confrontation. I was thinking about something much simpler. The truth. Why me? Why that night? Why disappear without a word? And did she ever think about it again? I realized something uncomfortable. For the first time since it happened, I wasn't powerless. I had information. I had access. I had a choice. And that scared me more than the theft ever did. Because once you act, you can't pretend you're the same person anymore. I wondered if she remembered me as clearly as I remembered her. If she ever told her husband about that part of her life. If she ever worried that one day, someone would recognize her. Or if ignoring me was her strategy. If silence was how she kept her past buried. I stared at the contact name on my phone for a long time. I imagined different outcomes. None of them were clean. None of them felt satisfying. Confrontation wouldn't give me back 12 years of silence. Apologies wouldn't change the fact that she had built a life while I swallowed the damage alone. And then something clicked. Seeing her wasn't about closure. It wasn't about money. It wasn't even about justice. It was about confirmation. I already had the answer I had spent years looking for. She remembered. She knew exactly who I was. And she chose to pretend I didn't exist. That was the moment everything settled. I didn't need to call the number. I didn't need to explain myself. I didn't need to hear excuses or apologies that would only exist to protect her present life. The truth was already clear. Some people don't regret what they did. They just hope time will erase the witnesses. And standing there, with that number in my phone, I understood something important. The power I thought I wanted wasn't in confrontation. It was in knowing that I didn't need anything from her anymore. I walked away with something I didn't have before. Certainty. And sometimes, that's the only closure you're ever going to get.